How do I tweet this?
Hello. Great, if we get started again. So if anyone hasn't sat down, take a seat. So our next speaker is Richard Adams, who's behind me. So yeah, if you'd like to give him a round of applause.
While he switches that on, I should just say, of course, we are writing the Sam's online magazine. I call it that because it is a magazine, really. And if you should, what you haven't said, if anybody else wants to put anything on there, write for that occasion. I'd just like to say thank you for allowing me the chance to speak about something I never speak about, which is myself. I normally get confident to speak about things I do during my day job, which are numerous. So talking to Sam, it was really clear that tonight was really just talking about personal journey. That's a picture of me. I started out painting. Like Finian, I did the same master's degree at the steps a little bit earlier than him. Hell of a place that was at the time. Started in the 80s, finished in the late 90s. And he also credited John Jones Morris for doing some of his code. John's helped me all those years ago as well. It's a really incredible place. I've drifted in and out of education, found the University of France, been college principal. I've got a visiting senior fellowship at Winton in media school, and I've been doing a lot of digital creative transformation. Currently at Royal Shakespeare Company doing that. Okay? So it's a mixed bag, really, my job. But when I left Middlesex back in the early 90s, I got written to. I was in the invidious position of being written to by letter, offering me a job in the letter, by a company doing this sort of thing. So this is 22 years ago. Now this is not mine. It's so old, I can't even find a screen grab of what we did there. But it was early interactive TV, and 22 years ago I found myself making interactive Emmerdale Farm. Straight after making an interactive cubist portrait machine. And there was no apparent cognitive dissonance there. But it was terrific, and unfortunately that's pushed me because I was able to earn good money. So I've been doing a lot of this over the years, but I keep producing and making things along the way. What I'm not very good at is showing them or talking about them. When I went to that company, what was formative, and I think it's a really formative influence on me, the interactive TV industry at that time was 2 companies, and it was honestly like the Wild West. There was no web, we had no examples of anything to look at, and we had to, and there was 4 of us there who were fine artists who could program a bit. And honestly, it was so frustrating. We used to play golf in the office. Just fire golf balls at people going in and out of the kitchen because of the frustration, because we couldn't do it. But it's thinking back, when you think back and think about your own practice, you sort of think, well, what are the formative things? And actually what got all of us through that was actually being artists, not technologists. Because artists and art is riven with frustration and disappointment. People reject you, they throw things at you, they tell you you're rubbish, you can't get exhibitions when you know you're better than anybody else, all that sort of stuff. And actually working in those Wild West environments meant that we were actually probably psychologically well equipped at the time to deal with that. And it served me in great stead since. And since then I've been all over the place, these places. Anyway, I did talk about a little bit about my work and stuff. And I was quite struck by Picasso. I mentioned an interactive cubist portrait machine. Of course, I'm a big fan of Picasso. Picasso said that computers are useless, they can only give you answers. You know, he's absolutely right. It's actually the job of an artist is to question. And it's to push boundaries. And the last thing we want is somebody telling us what good art is. and actually being able to prove it. You know, that's like faith. Faith disappears if we prove God exists. And to me, that's the same thing. So, when I went to Middlesex, we were confronted with all of this stuff. History of computer art. When you go through the history of computer art, it's very interesting that now, with a bit of time and age, I see the same concerns coming up, and yet this is a 50 or 60-year-old medium. And it seems that there's no recognition of history within that medium in a way that within other art practices there is. And I don't quite know what that is. These are all taken from the V&A website. That, by the way, is John Lansdowne, who founded that stuff at Middlesex. Absolute genius. He's got a whole page to himself on the V&A, he deserves more. But you know, right back from 1960 through the 70s, 80s and into the 90s, this is all stuff that actually you could trot out now. And with a few modifications, people would say that's great computer art. That's a slight concern for me, okay? I'll not dwell on it because I don't have time. And when I talk to people, and I talk to students, and I talk to clients, and I talk to stuff about digital art, computer art, I often show them this, which is brush marks put together inside. Yeah? And suddenly, from those building blocks, you get something that moves you. And that's exactly the same with digital art. You've got a byte of information there. You've got multiple bytes, and those multiple bytes are pulled from that computer simulation of Van Gogh. Okay? It's pretty much the same, and either way you cut it, you can say that, you know, you've got data and insight here. And so in actual fact, the mental process isn't actually significantly different. So the paintings I was doing before I went to Middlesex were like this. Standard art school stuff. Fiery, poor, you know, not fully resolved. When I went to Middlesex, I spent the year making this Cubist portrait machine, which was spitting out moving pictures like this, live. And it was an attempt to put interactivity in the fourth dimension into analog cubism. For a while. It just seemed like a good idea. I noticed 23 years later, I saw it in the press the other day, somebody's invented a Cubist portrait machine in New York, by the way. So, 23 years ahead of the buggers. But my big question is, what is art and what isn't? And I'm still producing, I'll show you some things I've done just in a second. I don't know what computer art actually is, or what digital art is. And this is the thing that bothers me, keeps me awake at night. These are mine. But I don't consider them art with capital A. And the reason is, they are photographs put through filters. And to me, they seem like, and I may be wrong here, this is all personal opinion, they just feel like the output of somebody else's thinking. They might be nice images, you might want one on your wall and they're for sale. But, I'm not sure they're art with capital A. Yet they are definitely digital. These are mixed media iPad paintings, or I painted with my finger. I just couldn't get the detail on the eyes and the patterns here, so I put those in from photographs. I'd be more likely to call those art, but I'm not 100% sure why, but I think it's because I've had direct involvement in pulling something out of the medium. Yeah? And then, of course, the photography I do, which I think is even more purist, these are photographs, they're not filters. But what they've done is almost like they used to do in the darkroom years ago. As you know, with tools now you can take it a bit further. But as long as you keep the purity of the photograph in the first place, I'm feeling this is more like art. And they are photographs. Okay? They might look a bit filtered, but they're not. So, given that we've got much time for a project, I've taken a bit of a sidestep. I've been writing music. So I've got, and again, please buy, 2 albums on iTunes, Spotify, etc. I've been writing music. That with me learning. This one does what I've just said I think that the iPad paintings did, which is it starts to extract something more than just what the software can give you. And I think that moves me much more than that one. This one, which isn't finished yet, is a bunch of science fiction short stories in song form. Can't get that geek thing away. It's just embedded deep in there. But the key thing here, for me, is that the only thing I can say in the common thread in digital going ahead is that the interdisciplinary nature is coming to the fore. Everybody I now know working in these fields is a polymath, or would have been 30 years ago. We can all make sound, image, video, etc. to a decent standard. So the challenge is to take it further and make it move people. And somebody said to me, you know, it's all very well this digital art stuff, but when was the last time you walked up to a piece of digital art and you went, wow, and you felt it here? And it does happen, I think, not very often. A lot of the stuff I see presented as digital art is often illustrative. It might be data produced as patterns. And it's absolutely beautiful. There's nothing wrong with that. But being an old modernist at heart, I'm sort of still sticking with the purist thing of art with a capital A, I suppose. And again, I stress, this is just personal opinion. I don't think I'm right. I'm just, for the first time ever, talking about myself. And what I'm working on at the moment, for hopefully next year, is a hackable play. But one of the great things about being at the RSC is I've been able to talk to playwrights and producers. And I've been buttonholing them, asking them what makes a good play. And they work very well with the short stories. And I'm sort of standard this short story, which is exploring the ethics of creating artificial life and then turning it off, which is a big, big problem morally. It's really just Frankenstein. But actually, it's really, really important to discuss. If you create something truly sentient, how could you ever turn it off without being a killer? And that's where I think I'm going, in the sense that I'm trying to move people and make them think properly. And I think what I would say to summarise is that all the digital techniques, methods, tools, etc., all they have served to do is to give me a bigger and deeper palette to work with in a way that I know 30 years ago I couldn't do. I couldn't have done a tenth of this stuff without computers. But I don't want the computer to be the arbiter of what I do. And this is why both Fidian and myself went to the Middlesex course all those years ago. They deliberately took artists and taught you the maths and the programming and the hardware and the systems over 6 months and then said, right, you're artists, go and make art. Excuse the language, but fuck software. You know, if you want software, write your own. Now, I'm not saying it's that simple anymore. But, you know, when you see Fidian's stuff there, you start thinking, well, actually, he's writing software. And he's got people, John writes software for him and things like this. But actually, the output is something very easy. And I think that's the sort of thing that my journey is taking me on. I think you need, in this industry, you need massive curiosity. I think the Picasso quote couldn't be more accurate. I don't want answers, I want questions. And that's not a hint. The chief attribute of craft has got to be interdisciplinary, collaborative, and bring together all of these things. I was recently talking with one of the big art schools. You know, they're starting to talk about art and biotech. You know, so they're finally catching up with what a generation of people have already done. But that's great news. But I think the output must be defined by the intent, not the technology. Have a look at time. Just show you that. And that's how I put things together in painting for you. A little Mondrian. Intent, formalities, crafting, medium, and reflection. Interestingly, in my day jobs, the most useful skill I've found has been the artist's skill of doing a piece of work, stopping, reflecting, iterating. Because that is the philosophy of agile processes. And I've said this at many conferences, you know, tech businesses should be employing artists to do project management. We do that naturally. You just need to point them in front of a check sheet that tells them what steps, and they'll do it. And yet we insist on employing project managers and techies, which is a really weird thing. I don't think anybody's quite caught up with the changes yet. I've got to finish now, haven't I? And that, to finish then, is just a set of skills I put together for somebody about creating another art college. Which may or may not be of use. I always post slides on SlideShare, and they'll be on the Create Good website as well, so don't feel you've got to grab these. Okay? And excuse my wavering voice, it's very uncommon. I'm very nervous talking about myself. Thank you.
It's back out again. Has anyone got any questions for Richard? Take it from.
I just want to ask, when you were talking about sort of photo filters and whether you classify that as art or not, what are your views on, I guess, we're now like the Instagram generation? Do you think it waters down the what you would have traditionally seen as an artistic process?
No, I think it's just raised again. It's pop music again. You go from complex jazz and classical music to suddenly 3 chords being banged out on an electric guitar and looking there. Yet, what came out of that? Lennon and McCartney. You know, and at the same time, classical music moved that way. It produced really interesting stuff because of it. And I think, I'm not knocking the notion of filters. I think what I'm knocking is the notion of filters as being the solution to creating art. And I think you've got to raise again and say, well, will this actually move somebody? Because actually art is about emotion, it's about humanity. Otherwise, why do it? You know, and again, I'm not belittling anybody here, but craft and the crafts tend to be the things that require the manual skill much more. And the art stuff tends to be a little bit more emotional and intellectual. And I think a lot of what I see out there that's filtered is very good craft work. Not obviously craft work group. Very good works of craft. And again, there's nothing at all wrong with any of that. It's brilliant. And I think it's brilliant that so many great images are being produced. It's just, it makes me think, right, I've got to be better. You know, when everybody, there was a Monty Python sketch to show the age. If everybody was Superman, who would mend your bike? And I think there's an element of that about digitally, that everybody can be Superman.
Yeah, so on a similar notion of music, obviously some might argue that Fidian's punk band recording on a small camera might be more real than anything thrown out of garage bands.
I think it was.
I just wondered why you said that your first album wasn't as much art in a way as your second one. What was the difference?
Because I think the first one was a piece of craft where I explored the software and what it could do. And I think the second one, I ignored the software and wrote tunes. In very simple terms. Actually, there's no tunes on it, but you know. But I started to find what I know about music. What I didn't say was I founded some years ago, I had the chance to found a university department. It was in the London College of Music. So I've had a strong interest in music anyway. I've never really been able to explore it at that time. But now I can. And that first album, if you listen to it, very much the software and what the software can do. And I think that's great. There's some good tunes on there, and I've even drunkenly danced to one of them. But the second one is much more musical. And the notion of musicality is much more prevalent in the second one. And again, this is just personal opinion, and please don't take it as an attack on any of this. It's not. And I might have changed my mind after 3 parts. Any other questions?
Okay, thanks.
Part 1, caught it. I don't know if you saw the Electronic Superhighway exhibition at Whitechapel recently, but whether you did or not, the thing that struck me about that was a lot of the work there was more about systems and politics and representation than it was about the kind of qualities that you've outlined in that slide there. Do you think do you think that's something that's changed over the 30 years you've been doing this? That there's a shift away from the kind of political representation through digital art?
No, I think political representation, actually, I haven't put it there, I'm going to add it, because absolutely, that is something that can move people. And I think this is all about getting to a stage where we move people with what we do, not look at how pretty it is with data you throw to LA flights. You know, and I genuinely think that, you know, the function of art is to connect emotionally with movers. Everybody watching that punk stuff was moved. Either giggling, excited, bored, you know, obsessing and worried about the quality of the sound, but, you know, getting frustrated with that. But, you know, we all have a feeling about it. And that, for me, is where it steps over the line. And I think you're right. I think the future of VR in particular. And I was talking, if you listen to one of the podcasts I did with Hazel Greer on the Creative website, she talks there about, you know, she as a storyteller who's worked for J.J. Abrams and Harvard and stuff, she talked very well about the notion of VR becoming the next storytelling frontier, but not in traditional storytelling terms, often in journalistic or experiential terms. And I think it's got the great potential to move people. Yeah. Actually, so I'm agreeing with you violently. All available on Spotify, I think.
After listening to your presentation, I really just want to know what you think about Brexit and how that's going to impact upon your field.
It'd be no surprise to tell you I didn't agree with it, but I was tempted, supposedly, at one point by some of the arguments about self-determination. Then I looked into it and thought, well, what's bollocks? There was nothing, because actually the EU is democratic. The impacts it will have are potentially very good and potentially very bad, I think. We don't know, do we? We're dealing with complex systems, and mathematically you just can't predict. This is the problem. It could be terrible. And it could be that we become isolated, we become culturally inwards. And I think that's my biggest fear in terms of culture and art. That we start looking in on ourselves. I don't want to see a Britain First digital march down my high street. Yeah. Okay, if you've got those views, fine. You know, just you get what I'm saying. It worries me with Brexit the impact on education. When we set the School of Communication Arts up in Brixton 5 years ago, we were fighting the government then to let students come from abroad. So this nonsense that people just walk in was nonsense. We have lots of very good students from all over the world who couldn't come in to do that. And I think that sort of thing's dangerous. Whether people are allowed to stay or not is another matter, because every country in the world has a visa system. But to allow the talent in and work the talent out and let it work and see what value it's got, to me, if you cut that off, it's scandalous, it's wasteful economically. And if you think of UK PLC and that awful concept, rather than it being a society, then skimping on education full stop is a vastly dangerous thing to do because you are not investing in potential. Now, one can say there's a left-wing old bastard over there who was on the picket lines with the miners in the 80s, yes, but I don't particularly support any of the main parties. I don't think that system works. And it's partly doing all this that's made me realise it doesn't. The last few jobs I've done have been working with big data and prediction and things like this. And when you get into that world, you suddenly realise the scale of complexity. And I'll leave you with that thought.
Great, thank you.